Welcome to our channel. We're excited to have you join us in learning to master English. Our channel aims to make learning English easy, fun, and engaging through our podcast series.
Hey everyone, welcome back, ready for another deep dive. Today we're tackling something really fascinating. The meaning of Ramadan fasting for Muslims. We've got some really cool audio that digs deep, like way beyond just, the basics. It gets into the spiritual side, the social aspects. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's interesting how we often hear about Ramadan fasting as like one of the pillars of Islam.
Right.
Like it's this obligation, this act of obedience to Allah. But when you actually listen to Muslims talk about their experience, it's so much more than just following rules.
Totally. And that's what I'm really curious about, what's the real transformation that happens? Our source mentions the Quran. It specifically says that fasting is meant to increase taqwa.
Oh yeah, taqwa.
But honestly, that word's always been kind of abstract to me. I mean, what does it actually mean to be more pious? How does that play out in real life?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, taqwa is often translated as piety, right? But it's also about this deeper awareness, this consciousness of Allah. It's almost like realizing that everything you do has consequences, not just in this life, but in the hereafter too.
Wow. Okay.
And fasting really pushes you to confront your desires, your impulses. You have to think twice before you act. You know what I mean?
So it's not just about giving up food and water then. It's about mastering your inner world too.
Exactly. You learn to resist temptation, to delay gratification. You start focusing on things that are bigger than your immediate needs. And that kind of discipline, it spills over into other parts of your life. Makes you more patient, more resilient. You just become more mindful of your actions, I think.
That's so interesting. And our source also talks about the social dimension of Ramadan, especially how fasting can create more empathy.
Yeah.
I get how sharing that experience of hunger can build a sense of solidarity.
Yeah.
But how does it actually translate into empathy and action? What's the link there?
Well, think about it this way. When you actually feel those hunger pangs yourself, even if it's temporary, it gives you this really visceral understanding of what it's like to be hungry all the time, to be food insecure,
Yeah.
And that awareness, it can push you to be more generous, more compassionate, more willing to help those in need. It's not just about feeling it, it's about actually doing something.
That makes a lot of sense. And it connects back to that idea of taqwa, right?
Yeah.
Recognizing your responsibility to others.
Exactly. I mean, Ramadan is definitely a time for spiritual reflection, but it's also about taking action. It's about looking beyond yourself and seeing the needs of your community, your society, even the world as a whole.
I love that.
Yeah.
Our source also talks about fasting as this kind of spiritual cleansing, beyond just giving up bad habits. How does it purify your thoughts and actions? What are some of the things people might not realize?
Well, one thing is that it creates space for you to actually look inward. When you're not constantly thinking about food or drink or distractions, your mind actually gets quieter. And you have more time and mental energy to think about your values, your relationships, what your purpose is.
Yeah.
You can start to see those negative thought patterns you might have, and then work on cultivating more positive ones.
That is powerful. And, our source actually quotes a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad. It talks about how those who fast sincerely, they can be forgiven for their past sins.
Oh, that's a beautiful one.
Can you unpack that a bit?
Yeah.
Especially for people who might not be familiar with hadith.
Sure. So a hadith is basically like a recorded saying or action of the Prophet Muhammad.
Right.
And they hold a ton of weight in Islamic tradition.
Yeah.
This specific hadith, though, it really highlights how powerful Ramadan can be. It's saying that if you approach fasting with the right intention, with real effort, you can actually be forgiven. It's like a fresh start. And it reminds us that Ramadan isn't just about, not eating or drinking. It's about genuine spiritual growth, about purifying yourself from the inside out.
Wow. So it's about aligning your inner world with those outward actions.
Yes, exactly. It's about being humble, seeking Allah's mercy, and trying to better yourself. That inner transformation is just as important as the physical act of fasting.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit. Our source also mentions the health benefits of fasting. We all know it can be good for the body, but where does that fit into the overall picture of Ramadan?
Well, even though the spiritual aspects are at the heart of Ramadan, you can't deny the physical benefits. It's like hitting the reset button on your body.
I like that.
Gives your digestive system a break, lets it repair itself. Some people say it even improves things like insulin sensitivity, and there are a lot of studies that suggest it can boost cognitive function.
So the physical and the spiritual work together.
Absolutely. It's like this holistic practice impacting every part of you. That physical discipline helps your willpower, which then helps you stay focused spiritually.
Yeah.
And then the spiritual growth motivates you to take care of your physical health too.
Yeah.
It's this beautiful cycle.
That is amazing. It's incredible how all these threads connect. We've covered so much. We talked about taqwa from the Quran, the impact of empathy on society, and even the surprising health benefits. Ramadan is clearly much deeper than what you see on the surface.
It really is. And it makes me wonder, for those listening, how might understanding these deeper meanings of Ramadan fasting change your own perspective, even if you haven't experienced it yourself?
Ooh. That is a great question to think about. This deep dive has definitely given me a new appreciation for Ramadan, and I hope it's done the same for you. So keep exploring, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive. See ya.
Thank you for watching this video. Hopefully useful. Don't forget to like and subscribe.